One of the most common things people come to me with is digestive issues. And most times the smartest choice is to recommend that someone sees a gastroenterologist to figure out the root cause of their issues. With that being said, sometimes it's really important to bring information to a doctor so they can get a little bit better of a sense of what is actually going on, and you two can work together to find the root cause in a much more effective manner. One of the easiest ways to figure out the root cause of your digestive issue is to simply look at the anatomy of your digestive system. Food will first go down your esophagus and enter into your stomach. And from your stomach, it will enter into the small intestine and then go into the large intestine. Interestingly, food actually first moves up the large intestine and then across, and then finally down and into the toilet bowl. Another thing to know is that we should have some bacteria inside of the large intestine, but we should not have an abundance of bacteria inside of the small intestine, which I'll get to later as a root cause of some digestive issues. But if we start in the stomach should actually be producing what's called hydrochloric acid to break down our food. This is an extremely acidic stomach that will mechanically and physically digest our food, kill off bacteria, and do a great job at breaking down proteins so they can be more easily digested and absorbed inside of the small intestine. But if we have low stomach acid, foods, specifically proteins, can go undigested in the stomach. Luckily, since we don't have bacteria in the stomach, there won't be much bloating. But low stomach acid will cause a fairly immediate distension of the upper part of your abdomen. But it may or may not come alongside a degree of gas. It may also increase your chance of having acid reflux, because this undigested food is pushing up the residual stomach acid inside of your stomach, up into your esophagus, giving you the symptoms of acid reflux. And if you're someone that typically feels better after using a digestive enzyme, apple cider vinegar, or betaine HCl before or after a meal, you may have issues with producing enough stomach acid, and one underlying reason for this could be a deficiency in zinc. But there are also many other reasons for this, therefore you should probably talk to a gastroenterologist about what's going on and what you truly think the root cause of the issue is. We can then move into the small intestine, where we can have an issue called SIBO. In essence, this is where bacteria that should be in the large intestine begin to grow and multiply inside of the small intestine, and they can compete for nutrient absorption and cause excessive gas and bloating. And if we have SIBO, our bloating and flatulence will typically come between 1 to 2 hours after a meal. And the symptoms of SIBO are abdominal pain, belching, bloating, diarrhea, distension, flatulence, and indigestion. So individuals with SIBO may be bloated between 1 and 2 hours after a meal, and they're probably more likely to experience burping after a meal. And these issues may be worsened by the ingestion of carbohydrates and fiber. So if you feel much better after reducing many carbohydrates and a lot of fiber, this is indicative that you may have some sort of overgrowth or some sort of intestinal issue inside of the small intestine. And this is critical information to bring to a gastroenterologist so you too can find the solution. And now the last place this could occur is the large intestine. The large intestine is actually where we should have a lot of bacteria, typically that will ferment undigested carbohydrates, amino acids, fatty acids, and specifically fiber. However, some people have what's referred to as dysbiosis, which is simply an imbalance in the specific bacteria that are beneficial and an overgrowth in the bacteria that are considered pathogenic, and increase the rates of intestinal issues. This could be caused by many things such as infections, genetics, environmental factors like antibiotics, drugs, and food additives, and actually not eating enough fiber in the past, which surprisingly makes you intolerant to fiber now. And one of the reasons for this is because many of the beneficial bacteria can actually use fiber to create beneficial compounds. But if you've had a series of environmental insults, you may not have an abundance of the bacteria that can break down this fiber. So when you eat fiber, you may get bloated and constipated. But since it does take a long time for food to get to our large intestine, if you have an issue inside of the large intestine, it may take between 5 and 6 hours after a meal to manifest. And maybe you're someone that responds well to a probiotic, but when you remove this probiotic, your symptoms begin to come back, because the probiotic will only increase the amount of these beneficial bacteria in the large intestine when you are taking it. And if you stop taking the probiotic and go back to your normal lifestyle, the beneficial bacteria will die off and this dysbiosis will occur again. And again, all of this is information that you should bring to a gastroenterologist to find the root cause and take the right steps to fix it. With that being said, if you want an individualized approach to your health and nutrition to optimize your energy, body composition, and longevity, send me a DM to sign up for coaching.